Featherweight bout here. Alex Caceres coming in at -162. Daniel Pineda +162. Over under 1.5 rounds, -180 for the over, +180 for the under. And Alex Caceres coming in here after a big head kick knockout to Julian Erosa, and that was a thing of beauty. And I was backing him there as the underdog. He's coming in as the favorite in this one against Daniel Pineda, who shocked a lot of people in his last time out at UFC San Antonio when he was a 2-1 underdog and got the guillotine choke in round 2 against Tucker Lutz, who was the biggest favorite on the card, I believe. And man, I mean, he's got insane finishing ability. He cracked Tucker Lutz on the feet and then ultimately got him with the guillotine choke. The submission skills are there. The knockout skills are there. He's never won a fight by decision, which is pretty crazy. And you look at who he was beating before he got back in the UFC in his second stint in the UFC. Like they're both no contests for the PFL against Jeremy Kennedy and Movlid Khabibulaev, but he won both of those fights. They got overturned to a no contest because he popped for some substances. But Jeremy Kennedy just fought for the Bellator title, if I remember correctly, or he's very high up in the Bellator title race. And then Movlid Khabibulaev is still undefeated, 20-0. So I mean, he's looking to be a real threat for the PFL championship. So he's beating some pretty solid guys. Tucker Lutz was thought to be pretty solid, and he got a good price tag coming back there. But Pineda's 37, and he's getting Alex Caceres here who's kind of like borderline top 15, like just kind of outside the top 15. And it's an interesting fight because I think both guys have good grappling. I don't know if Caceres is a taller guy and can use his kicks and maybe stay at range, but he really thrives when he's on your back and looking for the submissions as well. But I don't know if he wants to mess around with that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of leaning dog or pass in this one just based off of the finishing ability with Pineda. Maybe you go Pineda inside the distance and just hope for that because he's never won a fight by decision. So yeah, I don't know if I could get behind Caceres at this price. What do you think?
I don't think I could at this price either, but I'm not really sold on Pineda. I mean, yeah, he got the finish against Tucker Lutz, but I think Lutz is more overrated than anything in that fight. And I mean, Pineda being a little bit older, coming off of steroids, obviously, he obviously had the great performance in his last fight. But I look at Caceres, and like you said, kind of borderline top 15. But if he beats Sadiq Youssef in his second to last fight, which was a pretty close fight, I mean, look at the numbers. Both guys threw nearly the same strikes, and both guys had a takedown. But if he wins that fight, he's on a 7-fight win streak, which is insane. Like that's the most sneaky 6-1 record in that division right now is Alex Caceres. So yeah, man, I think I don't know if he gets enough credit for being, the good fighter he is. He's well-rounded on the ground. He's good. The kicks, obviously, we saw what he did against Julian Erosa. But I mean, Julian Erosa also getting knocked out by dudes making their debut. So how much stock do you put into that? I don't know. But, I don't know. It's a weird one, man. It just depends on what Pineda is going to show up. Like we obviously saw him get the finish against Tucker Lutz. But at the end of the day, he is 37. He is coming off of those, suspension in the PFL for the banned substances. There's a chance he comes in there and he just doesn't look good. I think that's always a chance for guys at this age who have had this many fights and taken as much damage as he has. So, I mean, his first stint in the UFC, there's a lot of losses on that record. So I just don't know what's going to flip the switch now at 37 when you're coming off the juice and go in there and just dominate a guy like Caceres. But the line is, it's kind of borderline. Like you don't want to take Alex Caceres at -170-ish, -168. And at the same time, it's like there's so many unknowns right now with Pineda. So yeah, I like this thing to end inside the distance. I really do. Both guys can crack. I mean, Pineda can crack and he can choke you out. I mean, kind of same thing with Caceres. So as far as a prediction, I'm going to go Alex Caceres. Not going to be betting on the money line. I do like the fight to end inside the distance. So
yeah, I think if Caceres could mind his P's and Q's and not get finished, like he should be able to outpoint him and could even get a finish by himself. But Yeah, I mean, Pineda just shocked people, like, coming back. That's kind of how we were thinking when he came back against Tucker Lutz. It's like, he's pretty old coming in after pop substances. Like, what does he really have to fight for? And then goes out there, gets the submission win. So he's always live. He's always a live dog. Maybe not enough of a dog to, like, take a bite at him at this, plus 160. It's not a huge dog, but yeah.
Yeah, I could see people being too high on him too after that Tucker Lutz performance. Like, I don't know. It's just it's a weird situation with Pineda.
Yeah, I wasn't too high on Tucker Lutz either. So take that with a grain of salt.